Imagine for a moment that your destiny takes an unexpected turn, that someone, for no apparent reason, begins to get closer to you in an almost mysterious way. You may feel like this is just a coincidence, but what if it was Allah Himself sending a sign through this person? What if behind this attraction or this pursuit, there was a divine plan much deeper than you can imagine? Today, we will discover a powerful message together. Allah tells you that someone is going to pursue you, that his heart is turned towards you, and there is a reason for that. Stay with me to understand why this situation is neither a coincidence nor a simple encounter, but a true divine intervention. Part 1. The divine call, the will of Allah. In life, we often tend to look for rational and human explanations for what happens to us. We analyze signs, events, and encounters, but sometimes there is something bigger at work. Islam teaches us that everything in the universe, every movement, every breath, every event in our life is subject to the divine will of Allah. He is the Creator, and only He knows why things happen, why hearts turn, and why some people draw close to us. But there is an even deeper truth to understand. These moments are not mere coincidences. These are signs from Allah, tests, and divine opportunities for us to see the world through His eyes. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, guides us throughout our lives. Sometimes we think we are heading towards a person, but in reality, it is Allah who is guiding us towards them. This heart that turns towards you, this inexplicable attraction, this person who seeks to be close to you, all this is not the result of chance. As He reminds us in the Quran, it is Allah who guides whom He wills. Surah 24:46. You may not immediately understand why someone is coming to you, but know that Allah, in His great wisdom, has a plan for you, and this person has a role to play in that plan. There is no chance, no simple encounter. This bond that is being formed is not trivial. Imagine for a moment. A person is approaching you in a way that seems completely unexplainable. Maybe you met in circumstances that seemed insignificant, but it's not an accident. Allah orchestrated this encounter, and the person pursuing you could be a way for you to play a role in their life. Maybe you are the one who will help him straighten out his faith, get closer to the truth, find a path of support and light. Or maybe, somehow, you will learn something from this person that will change your perspective, bringing you closer to Allah. It is a divine test, a test of faith, but also an invitation to remain humble and confident in the divine will. Don't let yourself be overwhelmed by confusion or uncertainty. Instead of looking for human answers to this phenomenon, turn to Allah. Trust in His plan and the direction He gives you. This person's heart is reaching out to you for a divine reason. And it is crucial to remain vigilant, thinking about how you can respond to this call positively and wisely. It can be confusing at first, especially when you don't yet fully understand why this person is looking to join you. But remember that it is Allah who guides the hearts, and everything that happens is under His supervision. This is not a simple game of chance, but a clear sign that bonds are being formed for a much greater purpose. You should never underestimate the power of the divine plan, because each encounter, each heart that turns to you, is a unique opportunity to see the hand of Allah at work in your life. 2. The search for peace in the hearts. The heart in Islam is not simply a physical organ. It represents the center of our soul, the core of our faith, and our connection with Allah. It is through the heart that our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions, and our actions are woven. The Quran reminds us in a striking way. It is only in the remembrance of Allah that hearts find peace. Surah Shaitan 13:28. This peace is essential. It is a tranquility that cannot be found in material possessions, nor in the distractions of this world. It resides solely in the acceptance of divine will and in submission to Allah. Imagine that a person comes closer to you. Maybe you don't immediately understand the reasons for this attraction or the depth of this budding connection. But it is very possible that this person, unconsciously or consciously, seeks to find a form of peace, of serenity, that they do not find elsewhere. Just spending time with you could bring her a comfort she never knew. In a world where everything seems so uncertain, where hearts are desperately searching for meaning in their existence, your presence could be a beacon of light. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, sometimes uses souls as instruments to appease other souls. When someone turns to you, it is not just a mundane relationship, but perhaps a path that God has laid out for you to become that source of peace for another person. It is said in the Hadith, "The mercy of Allah is closer to you than you can imagine, and sometimes Allah conveys it through the human beings around you." This relationship, which is built, whatever its form, is therefore not fortuitous. It is a part of a larger plan that Allah has developed. It's common for people to find themselves attracted to each other without knowing why. There is not always a logical reason behind these links, but Allah knows every intention, every motivation hidden in everyone's heart. Perhaps this person, who is looking to become attached to you, needs a listening ear, wise advice, or even just a loyal friend to get through a difficult time. Every relationship, every human interaction, is therefore more than a simple chance encounter. It is part of the vast divine design. We must learn to recognize this and understand that our hearts, just like those of others, are guided by the hand of Allah. The depth of what lies behind an attraction, connection, or rapprochement should not be underestimated. Sometimes destiny is shaped through connections that we did not ask for, but which turn out to be a gift from God to us and to each other. This peace in hearts, which can be born through simple human interactions, is actually a gift from Allah, an opportunity to bring people closer to each other in His light. 3. The responsibility of the heart. When someone approaches you, actively seeking a connection, it may seem like a gesture of simple friendship or support. However, in Islam, there is a depth behind this interaction that must be taken seriously. It is not simply a question of creating social connections, but a question of spiritual and moral responsibility. We all have a responsibility to treat others with dignity and respect, and this applies even more when a heart is attached to us. This bond, whether platonic, familial, or more intimate, is a golden opportunity to uphold fundamental Islamic values: compassion, respect, and kindness. Islam teaches us that every act, no matter how simple, must be in harmony with the principles of our faith. Every word spoken, every action taken, must be reflected through the prism of the moral responsibility we have towards others. When someone actively seeks you out, whether through affection, advice, or support, it should be met with awareness. You are not just a passive recipient of this attention. You are a responsible actor in this dynamic. The heart that turns to you is not a simple coincidence. It is a connection that must be respected and protected. If you abuse this trust or fail to treat this relationship with the seriousness it deserves, you could break something precious, not only in this relationship, but also in your own relationship with Allah. The responsibility you bear as someone with a heart is immense. You have in your hands the opportunity to guide this person, to influence them positively, or to support them in a difficult moment. Allah, in His wisdom, has allowed you to become an anchor for this person, and this is a test for you. as it is said in the Quran, and advise one another to truth, patience, and perseverance. Surah 103. This advice, this guidance, must not be selfish. It must not be done for personal gain or to manipulate others. Sincerity is at the heart of this responsibility. Sincere and authentic caring requires honesty, transparency, and, above all, integrity. It is essential to remember that every person who enters your life is not there by chance. The bonds that are forged are opportunities given by Allah to be an instrument of good in the lives of others. In every moment, you have the power to build or destroy, to guide or lead astray. If you let your ego or personal desires interfere, you can harm that person, but also yourself. The true responsibility in any relationship is to maintain a healthy balance, respect each other's rights, and remember that you are a person with a mission to bring good, light, and authenticity into the lives of those around you. It is therefore imperative to treat every heart attached to you with the greatest care. This does not mean acting out of self-interest, but rather with an acute awareness that this attachment is a means by which you are being tested. Be a pillar of strength, an example of patience, and a bearer of truth. Never let the relationship be based on selfish or superficial intentions. Be a vector of good and authentic love, because ultimately it is these actions that will mark the hearts of others, and which will strengthen your own bond with Allah. 4. Spiritual connection beyond appearances. In a world where physical appearance and first impressions seem to matter, Islam constantly reminds us that the essence of a person does not lie in what we see on the outside. Allah does not look at your bodies or your faces, but He looks at your hearts. Sahih Muslim. This powerful hadith reminds us that for Allah, true beauty and value lie in intention, faith, and purity of heart. When someone draws closer to you, attracted not only by your presence but also by something deeper, it's not a superficial connection they're looking for. This person, perhaps without even being aware of it, is looking for a spiritual connection, a meeting of souls, a fusion of hearts in the search for good and proximity to Allah. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, shapes our relationships in a way that tests our ability to understand others beyond appearances. When someone becomes attached to you, it is possible that they are looking for something in you that goes beyond what the human eye perceives. They are looking for a spiritual light, a wisdom anchored in faith. This bond that is forged is a divine opportunity to strengthen your own faith and become a spiritual guide, a model of Islamic behavior for others. Every interaction, every gesture, every word becomes an opportunity to manifest the love of Allah, to be a source of light in the darkness, a source of comfort and guidance to those who seek you. It's not just about meeting physical or emotional needs. Relationships, as taught by Islam, are based on a deep respect for spiritual values. The attachment this person may feel toward you is not simply a quest for affection or companionship, but an unconscious or conscious desire to draw closer to the truth, guidance, and inner peace that comes with faith in Allah. Through this connection, you have a fundamental role to play. You are not just a friend or loved one. You are an instrument of divine will, a means by which Allah can guide others towards more light. This type of spiritual connection is a great responsibility. You are being tested by Allah to see how you react to this rapprochement. Are you ready to offer your heart with sincerity and humility? Will you respond to this call with kindness, patience, and wisdom? Or will you let yourself be overwhelmed by the appearance of things, forgetting the essence of this connection? Allah wants you to know that within every relationship, no matter how mundane or insignificant it seems, lies immense spiritual opportunity. This person turning to you could be a way for you to elevate yourself spiritually, deepen your faith, and understand the true meaning of love and compassion in Islam. The main thing here is not to be fooled by appearances. Do not be distracted by the surface of things, for what is truly important lies in the depths of the heart. If someone pursues you, he is not only pursuing you as an individual, but as a representative of the light of Allah. You become a mirror, reflecting peace and divine truth through your actions, your words, and even your silences. This spiritual connection, even if it seems simple or ordinary, can actually be an open door to a greater spiritual journey for both of you, a journey toward purification of the soul and closeness to Allah. This is how Islam teaches us to see every human connection, not as mere chance, but as a divine opportunity to grow spiritually and spread the light of faith. 5. The act of trust and submission to Allah. In life, there are times when deep connections form, and sometimes these relationships can destabilize us, especially when they seem to develop without our control over them. When someone actively pursues a connection with you, it can be both flattering and confusing. But it is essential to never lose sight of the essential, your relationship with Allah. Whatever bond is formed, it must never take the place of your faith and trust in Him. Islam teaches us that everything, absolutely everything, happens under divine will. And put your trust in Allah, for He is the best of protectors. Surah 3, 173. This trust is the foundation on which every relationship must rest, and it is also an act of submission to His will. When you find yourself in a situation where someone is getting closer to you in a more intense way, it is important to remember that this could be a test of your faith. Perhaps this situation is here to assess your ability to remain humble, to stay grounded in your relationship with Allah, and not to get carried away by human emotions or expectations. This situation, although it may seem personal, is an opportunity to strengthen your trust in Allah, to submit your desires, and your projections to His will. Islam teaches that everything that happens in our lives, whether pleasant or difficult, is a test to draw us closer to Allah. And we must respond with patience, gratitude, and equanimity. This doesn't mean you should ignore your crush or downplay the importance of the relationship. But this means that you must keep a balance, a divine gaze on this situation. Accept this connection, but remember that everything is in the hands of Allah. Sometimes relationships form, and sometimes they dissolve. And it is through these experiences that you are tested. How do you react when the situation gets out of hand? Do you worry about the future, or do you place all your trust in Allah, knowing that His plan is perfect, and that every event, every encounter has a divine reason? Submitting to the will of Allah is a profound act of faith. This means accepting what happens, whether it is a coming together or a moving away, with peace of mind and complete trust in Allah. And no matter what the future holds for this relationship, Allah has already made a path for you. He can choose to make it stronger, teach you important lessons through it, or make it disappear when you least expected it. The key is to accept this with equanimity, knowing that everything, from start to finish, is guided by Allah. This test of trust and submission is not always easy, because humans naturally tend to want to control their circumstances. However, by placing your faith in Allah, you become stronger in your heart, more resilient in the face of challenges, and more calm in the face of uncertainty. This connection, as powerful and important as it may seem, is an opportunity for you to strengthen your relationship with Allah. You are called to remember that everything that happens, even the deepest human relationships, is part of the divine plan. You must accept with faith and serenity what is destined for you, and submit yourself completely to His will, knowing that Allah is always there to protect you, guide you, and accompany you, whatever happens. If this message touched you, if you felt that there was something greater behind these events in your life, do not lose sight of the beauty of the divine plan. Everything is written by Allah, and every encounter, every relationship, every attachment has a deeper purpose. If this video opened your eyes, share it with those who need it. Leave a comment to share your experience, and subscribe for more inspiring videos. Remember, every heart drawn to you is an opportunity to grow, understand, and come closer to the way of Allah.